Previously on the Challenge, Rivals 3.
Alright guys, first order of business. Leroy. You've seen multiple doctors since you've been here. They stated that you are physically unable to do any competitions. So, unfortunately, you have to go home. I'm sorry, man.
I feel a tear is coming because I know what that means.
And Avery, you're his partner, so you gotta go too. I'm sure we'll see both of you guys again, but this time around, you gotta pack your bags. Take care.
Yeah, it's all right.
Jess is going into elimination. Man, I hope she makes it back. Coolest girl in the house, and I hate to see her go this early.
I think that Devin and Cheyenne have it. And the reason is because of Jessica. Jessica is not good at this stuff.
I just see her falling off the wall in X's 2 with Dustin. I see her on television losing and falling into water with Anastasia. I see her getting sent home in free agents. I see her getting sent home. I see Jessica. Bad things, stop.
Alright, Devin and Cheyenne. Unfortunately for you, couldn't get it done tonight, so this ends your time here in Mexico. Take care, you guys.
I would 100% do this again. I now understand the nuances, and I feel like if I were to come back, it would be a completely different game.
Overall, I had a great experience. I learned a ton about myself. I learned a lot about Devin. If there's ever a redemption tour, call us up because we'll be there.
I'm a baker, not a robber, babe. And I'm I don't give a fuck. I'm on the world order, babe. I do this for my unborn daughter, babe.
Welcome to this week's installment in our newest series, Rise to the Challenge, here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast. I'm your host, RiverCity Clement, and I'm here ready to review Episode 3 of MTV's The Challenge, Rivals 3, which aired last night, Wednesday, May 19th. We're 3 episodes into this season with 3 reviews to enjoy, which means we are actually nearly a quarter of the way through the season already, and only 2 teams of the 13 that arrived have gone home thus far. Devin and Cheyenne in the first elimination, and Leroy and Avery due to Leroy's back injury. This episode had us near meeting our first replacement team. We've actually only had a single legitimate hookup between Jamie and Ashley, in the bathroom no less. No dramatic fights yet, and still plenty of tears have flowed in the first 2 episodes, and ironically, none of them were nannies. And we're here now to break down all of it with some quick hit thoughts on the episode, as well as induct our 3rd and 4th members into the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. 2 guys are going in this week, joining Darrell Taylor and Evelyn Smith, who were inducted the previous 2 weeks respectively. So let's dive headfirst into this week's episode, one that already you've hopefully seen. And if you want to go in order and hear our reviews from episodes 1 and 2 up to 3, check out our archive in iTunes, podcast, or our Podomatic page. Just search Baker's Dozen Podcast, subscribe on iTunes or podcast. You get episodes updated automatically with a Wi-Fi connection. You can easily listen to those and then enjoy this episode, but if you're ready to listen right now, I'm ready to talk the Challenge Rivals 3, Episode 3, so let's do this thing. Hold up for a second. Let's go ahead and stick with the quick hit style that worked well last episode. Whenever you hear this sound, it means that the thought is done, and we'll hit the next one immediately thereafter. So now, with all the delays and distractions out of the way, let's really do this thing. Mere seconds into the show, a theme is clearly forming for this episode. There is a heavy tease on early drama coming up throughout the episode surrounding Ashley, who clearly is going to transform into Smashley, surely after a few shots. I think the producers have made a concerted attempt to focus just as much, if not more, this season on the Challenge Rivals 3 on in-house drama, in-club drama. Basically drama that is not associated directly with the challenges themselves or even alliances, Basically just people getting drunk and being stupid. Now, I can live with this if it's spaced out well. Either way, though, Jamie, beware. Smashley, she's coming for you.
You don't want people to talk about you. Don't give them nothing to talk about.
Wes and Simone? Clearly Wes is playing some sort of a game here. The guy's got a girlfriend, and he really hasn't been making many plays, relationship or even hookup-wise, in several seasons of the show. I don't think since Teresa, honestly. This isn't his move this season. Now, an alliance, sure. If he's able to get some of the RV1 people on his side, I could see it. But he's not looking to hook up or for a relationship with Simone. Not going to happen. So be careful, Simone. Meanwhile, we're less than 5 minutes into the episode, and Ashley already is in absolute meltdown mode. She's already crazy paranoid as it is, as she lets us know. She's got issues stacked upon issues. If you don't believe me, just her season of The Real World, all 2 weeks that she lasted on it, man, it was a train wreck. And you combine that with heavy drinking, probably shots of tequila. You put that with a volatile mix of an equally paranoid and wild cast. You know, plenty of female competition, especially physically, to look at all around Ashley. Look, she is ready to fall into the deep end, folks. Look out. Maybe my single favorite moment of any season of the challenge is when an older veteran star starts to realize that after seeing a rookie or a newbie have a meltdown, that they used to be that person. You know, this season's first such moment belongs to Camilla, aka the former Camillinator. Gotta love when somebody like Camilla, who is just known for being berserk at times, especially at her worst, she kind of gets that perspective from the outside and realizes, maybe for the first time, just how she used to be. And you can chuckle about it now, but it does probably make you think, oh my God, how did that ever happen? But that's okay. Look, crazy Camilla, she was good for TV. Crazy Ashley, crazy Smashley, she's good for TV too. It's actually great reality TV. It's part of what makes the challenge so much fun. And look, anytime they can show any of Camilla's epic meltdowns in a flashback, everyone wins. And with a lot to choose from, we win again.
I can't do this again. I need to throw up. I need to throw up. Here, Camille, can you make yourself throw up?
And just in case you weren't sure, Smashley, that was totally in full effect. She's already told Nicole, who never did make out with Jamie, mind you, to piss in your pants, bitch. Nicole isn't using the bathroom tonight, not when Ashley is on the sink, slowly sinking into insanity. And topping it off, it's Ashley melting down in a bathroom with Camilla. Yes, Camilla. And she's got the job of calming her down, although Camilla doesn't really look all into it. I think she's just sort of trying to not allow damage to be caused. But she sort of is sitting there going, okay, this girl's crazy, she's drunk, nothing she's saying is true. But perhaps she's getting more of that in her perspective as well, you know. Maybe it's just her turn to do it. Or it's the official passing of the torch, Queen crazy to the new princess crazy, whatever works for you. But, just for clarification's sakes, Nicole does tell the cameras later, and all of us, I didn't kiss some prison guard, obviously in reference to Jamie. Fantastic, Nicole, fantastic. Although I do feel like she needs to have some sort of a hookup at some point, despite whatever the heck her eyelashes are doing. Look, Nani seems past that, which means I think Nani's past the challenge, but I'm sure one of them, if not both of them, have a meltdown moment in them, or so I'm hoping. But back to Ashley. You know, Simone may have said it best the next day concerning Ashley's antics, you know, in which Ashley, mind you, ends up drunkenly cuddling and sleeping next to Jamie. You know, Simone says, Ashley ass did the most last night. You know, amen, Simone, amen. You know, later we start to see some drama between Ashley when she's waking up, putting on her pound of makeup, with Simone and Jessica the next morning. Look, I'm not taking the bait. I wasn't interested in this at all, actually. You know, we got Jessica last week. I don't need leftovers of that meal. Although, you know, Simone, to her credit, she's good for a couple lines here or there. She's almost the new Leroy in that aspect, but only in that aspect. She's not Leroy. And man, I tell you what, this show is missing Leroy already, isn't it? 15 minutes into the hour-long episode, and it's finally TJ on the beach, which means it's officially challenge time. TJ shedding the hats in recent years. Great move, bro. Look, am I the only one that finds it a little underwhelming that we're midway through our third episode and just in our second challenge event? You know, sorry, I know I sound like a broken record at times, but there's odd pacing to this season's show, and I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again, but I guess I'll digress. And first up, well, who are the replacements going to be? My buddy and regular contributor to the show, Jimmy Wright. he wanted a team of vets, a team with the likes of a CT, an Abram, a Cara Maria, a Zach, some powerhouses to bring into the house and shake things up. To be honest, I was skeptical that was going to happen, and, if I'm being frankly honest, I was right to be skeptical. And to be perfectly honest, I wish I wasn't right. It's another Are You the One team, Snore. Amanda and Nelson from some season of the show. Look, my reaction seems to be similar to that of many veterans on the show, some fans I know of the show as well. Look, even if people are still there from freshman or bloodlines, they seem to have more in the show. They seem to have more credibility, I guess is the right word, than Are You the One? But I guess we're going to have to get over that. It's not going away. Amanda and Nelson, they look athletic upon first appearance, but they also look a little loud, especially Nelson, who seems to have the ego to fit in this house. But I'm going to tell you what, there's something called challenge logic. If Nelson seems like the loud one, Amanda's the fire starter. That's challenge logic right there when you meet a team. The replacement team, I think, is a huge missed opportunity for the producers of this show. Look, bringing in Abram last season during Bloodlines, it worked to a T. So did the mini challenge with Zach and CT, so why not find a veteran rivalry pairing? You don't have to find somebody who's on it every season, but you can find people who want to be on this show that are heavy hitters, that are noted. Even a veteran that comes in who has not had a ton of success, they're going to be looked at as somebody to fear. You could bring in a new real-world team, a new bloodline, something somewhat familiar to shake up the house. Look, another Are You the One team, it's not going to shake up anything. Unless this Are You the One cast can form a legitimate alliance or start winning challenges, and I'm not sure about one, multiple, I don't know what their impact's going to be. Now, I realize that I have to stop whining about it. MTV's not giving up anytime soon on Are You the One. They want us invested. If you watch the challenge, whether you're fast-forwarding through commercials or you're watching it live, every first commercial out is plugging the upcoming Season 4 of Are You the One. The real world is struggling to be relevant. The season's been boring. Outside of its ties to the challenge, I don't know how many people are watching the real world just to watch the real world. And Are You the One is going to get top billing. So with some advice, I got to live with it, Clement. And you'd think I'd start watching to recruit the talent for the challenge, but I just don't want to. I don't watch shows like this. I don't watch The Bachelor. And no matter how much sense it makes, I watch the real world because I want to know who's going to be on the challenge. I can't do that yet for Season 4 of Are You the One, MTV. Maybe I'll try one episode. Maybe a couple listeners can talk me into it, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling mightily with these members of the cast, and I'm wondering if this show can get a lot better if we can allow these members just to get knocked off like I think they will, or perhaps I am not looking through the trees and I'm not realizing that this is the way that you bring in a younger generation of the show. It's an interesting paradox to consider, and typically the word paradox and challenge don't go well together, but this time I think they do. Quick side note, I remember seeing on the minute-long season preview clip for this season of Rivals 3, Nelson, who, mind you, I didn't know was Nelson at the time, but I also knew he wasn't on the original cast of 13 Teams, doing some sort of power walk in the nude, covering his nether regions. Look, this is kind of the reason that I lean towards an Are You the One team being the replacements. It wasn't like it was insider information, but you kind of pick up on these things. I suppose I'm going to give this team a shot. I mean, you can't change things by complaining about them, so let's try it. TJ lets us know that the challenge game is called Dirty Laundry. Fitting. Basically, partners grind on a massive bar of soap. Seriously. It's spread across basically like a log or circular shaped mat with 4 numbers hidden beneath the layer of soap. And to get the soap off, you grind on the soap. Yes, literally grind on it. Largely with your butt and crotch, wearing only compression shorts, mind you, until the soap wears away and the 4 numbers appear. There's some water under your feet to help, as sort of like a lubricant. That's all I'm going to explain anymore about this game. And trust me, this is meant to be very, very, very sexually gratuitous. And it is. And then some. And once you figure out the 4 numbers, you sort through a bucket of dirty laundry, aka shirts, and then hang the appropriate 4-number combination in order up on a clothesline. Sort of a Middle Ages, Parcheesi, sexual bouillabaisse, I suppose? I don't know. Another twist, and I need to get a sound effect for these twists whenever I introduce them on the show, but it's a good one. TJ lets us know that the order of the game will not be chosen by the victors from the previous challenge, but by those who survived elimination. This is smart, MTV. It's really smart. Why not give a small reward to those who survive elimination? It makes total sense to me. And predictably, Johnny Riley and Jessica have the newbies going first. The first heat with 4 teams is completely dominated by Are You the One teams. No surprise, smart strategy to those two. Second side note, looking at this game, you'd think Tony could go to the Olympics and medal. If this were an actual sport in Rio this summer at the Olympics, he literally gets to hump something and try and mash his junk into another girl's butt, pretty much doing the same. It's like grinding in the club, taken to the nth extreme. Look, forget Zika. Rio wouldn't survive Tony this summer. Back to the challenge event, Christina and Nate in the first heat kill it. Not sure how they do it. Oh wait, Christina is loving this event. Seriously, watch it again. Her arms are kind of in dance mood and her butt, what there is of it, it's ready to win. Look, I'm struggling to pinpoint exactly what Christina's appeal, but there's something there, isn't there? I just don't know what it is. I might be missing something. I'm surprisingly rooting for her. Maybe because she went, home the first time. Maybe because she has such a weak partner who won't jump out of a plane during the challenge. Look, I'm not sure why on either account, but good for her. It's good to see somebody take home a win that you didn't expect. At the bottom of Heat 1, again, dominated by Are You the One? It's Nelson and Amanda, who I'm going to call Freckles now, Amanda that is. They lose badly. There's a lack of communication. There's no surprise there. It's their first challenge. They struggle. And the question becomes, are they going to be on the challenge for less than 24 or 36 hours? It looks like it's pretty possible. If not, altogether probable. What ensues whenever somebody's not directly participating in the game are sex jokes, ass jokes, booty jokes, all the bad jokes we can cram into a 2-minute segment. And you know what? That's okay. Because I'd be doing the same thing if I was doing it with my friends. And that's the exact intention of a game like this, and it's working. Look, some jokes land better than others, but that's sexual innuendos for you.
Doctor, I'm getting a little tired of the sexual innuendo.
Innuendo.
Kellyanne isn't thrilled about this game, but there's no temper tantrum, and I can live with that. Look, I wouldn't want my significant other or family member doing this on national television, so I can see her point, although I shouldn't go down that rabbit hole because 95% of what takes place on the challenge, you would not want your significant other or your family members doing, but that's the world that they live in. So meanwhile, Ashley loves this game because of course Ashley loves this game. It's not like this is a surprise. The girl literally starts moaning. I'm moaning. And it's not like Sharapova grunting during a tennis match. She's enjoying this soap. She's enjoying the ride and then some. Thousands of teenage boys across the country were watching this, and they had to turn down the volume during this scene because the moaning was that intense. And that's all they did, folks. On the complete opposite spectrum of things, Simone's crotch, it's burning. Fantastic. Wes and Nani, to nobody's surprise, especially not mine, Team Wes, they work smart and they just target the numbers. And look, it's going to be tough to see them go because I think Wes has made one too many enemies, notably bananas along the way. I don't think they're going to win. Nani's just snake bitch. She's the new Paula. And that's just a gut feeling, but even so, Wes and Nani are a solid team. They're fun to watch. They usually figure things out before others. Meanwhile, Thomas and Simone, weak sauce. This team needs to go ASAP. Like, I don't get Tom's appeal. Didn't on The Real World. Don't now. Didn't on Bloodlines. And Simone, I'm sorry. She's never going to be a physical competitor worthy of a title. She's not making a final. See Joanna. See Jasmine. See Cheyenne last week even. Meanwhile, last week's elimination champs, Johnny Riley and Jessica, they're right back where they started, sucking at challenges and blaming each other right along the way, as they do best. I'll bet anyone cold hard cash this team doesn't survive the next 2 or 3 challenges, guaranteed. Meanwhile, Tony isn't focused enough on the game, or even on his own humping somehow, because of Camilla. Seriously, this guy's the ultimate horn dog, and he has reality TV star written all over him, even if it's outside of the MTV reality universe. And in fairness, Camilla can do that to people, even after all these years. She's still got it. And for this episode's Bonehead Comment of the Week from Jenna, first, she still doesn't like her partner Vince. She doesn't want to hump anything anywhere near Vince. Vince is likely thinking the exact opposite of that. Jenna doesn't want to break her vagina bone while on the challenge. It's not a vagina bone, Jenna. It's called your pelvic bone. We're all now a little dumber after listening to that exchange from her. But we forgive her because we still really enjoy having Jenna on the show. Jessica and Johnny Riley, to nobody's surprise, finish dead last in their heat. They're not even close to finishing. So that leaves the newbie replacement team of Amanda and Nelson, Thomas and Simone, and just as last week, Jessica and Johnny Riley as the 3 last place teams. Now wait, why were there heats that were timed or they weren't timed and the losing teams of each heat that lost never finished? I can't be the only one confused. This is downright odd. What's the format to get into the elimination round? Since these groups didn't need to finish that came in last, and you can't measure how much soap they knocked off, I smell something fishy here, MTV, and I don't like it. So in response, TJ gives us another twist. Okay, not so sure about that music, but I've enjoyed the twist so far for the most part, so I'll try it. And I don't like it. Not one bit. No elimination. Everyone is spared, so what was the point of this challenge? TJ, and by TJ I mean the producers, they seem to want to give Amanda and Nelson some more time on the show, so was this entire elimination just a practice for them and them alone? They still failed, by the way, but look, we have a decision to make. You got to pick 2 teams, this is a decision for Nelson and Amanda, to enjoy a taste of Huatuco. And whatever that means, this was not the time for a commercial break, but we get one. Look, it's dragging. There's no drama coming, but I suppose we should wonder the opposite. So, Simone and Thomas get picked. Okay. Sarah and Bananas get picked. I wonder if the producers had something to do with Bananas getting picked. Either way, the elimination round is officially canceled for no reason, and TJ wants to throw a house party or fiesta instead. Okay. This all might make sense since Avery and Leroy did go home due to injury unexpectedly, but we got the new Are You the One team. So I suppose the producers are really all in with Are You the One, even if most of the house isn't. The 3 losing teams survived in advance, and the 3 winning teams, I'm not sure what they get. Maybe pride? I guess that's a thing in the challenge universe. Moral victories? And before we know it, we're at the bar and bistro with the 3 teams, and I frankly don't care what they're talking about. Look, I nearly fast-forwarded this scene as I could have guessed what they could have said. Banana did what he does best. He ragged on Sarah for being a snake and a traitor and treacherous and on and on and on and on with that broken record. Bananas did hate on Wes, which actually was spot on, but the Sarah bashing, it's getting real old real fast. Look, love or hate Bananas, he's gone stale this season, and he's singing the same damn note, and I can't stand it. Tom then shares that his rivalry from Simone developed because she got all up in his businesses. Not all up in his business, Tom's businesses. Reminds me of a wedding I was at recently, actually. The maid of honor gave a really nice speech, but then she kept saying something about how it was the bride and groom's best day of their lives. Not their lives, but lives. Look, memo to Tom. People don't get all up in your businesses unless you own multiple businesses. They get up in your business. Got it? Good. As for Johnny Bananas, dude, I got a few words for you. Seriously, dude, cry me a damn river. Look, I know you lost money. A lot of money. I know you felt robbed by Sarah. You honestly believe that. I know you live in a world where you never screwed anybody out of money during the challenge. I know that you play the game to win, but you're never dirty doing it. You're always right. Everyone else is always wrong. I know that I'm sitting on my couch watching these challenges while you are out there busting your butt winning. Look, I should just play that incredible mashup that I found on YouTube that I played during our episode 1 of Rivals 3 review, which exposed Bananas as a total hypocrite. Look, Bananas, you're challenge royalty. You're an actual legend at this. You're up on Rushmore. When it comes to the challenge, you are one of the most well-known personalities even outside of the MTV universe for some. But please, dude, stop whining 24/7 and stop using every second of airtime to blast and bash Sarah for doing exactly what you would have done to her and what you have done to others in the past. Seriously, dude, you gotta stop. And unfortunately, for people like me that are frustrated, it's not going to end because this team is going to be in the final. They're going to win. And I still dread the thought of Bananas never letting this go because he's nowhere near done with the challenge.
Come on, man.
The episode is winding down, and frankly, look, it's pretty obvious I haven't loved this season thus far, but I've enjoyed it. I know I can get a little negative, but that's critique, that's reviewing. There's plenty to love. But this format is not working. There isn't enough action. Look, I don't want to rush things. I don't think that we have to somehow get no house time, no social time, and fit everything into one episode. But I don't think that you have to just promote the house, club, and social interactions. Look, if you're going to give me a challenge or an elimination, and there's got to be a deliberation with one of them, make them count, please. Just give me some stakes for every episode. Don't show me something that doesn't lead to another. I need a cause and effect, please. The show winds down with Kamikaze Amanda, our aforementioned newbie replacement, basically going Daenerys Targaryen, speaking straight Dothraki to the rest of the house.
Odraz mi machan daon. Idaren non machan. Naijan.
Amanda, a.k.a. Freckles, a.k.a. the Mother of Dragons, she goes right after Tony, too, who's just being a bro. He's just being Tony. And that brings the real Khaleesi, Camilla, into the situation. Again, Tony's a douchebag. Nobody's arguing this, but he's Camilla's partner, and he's her douchebag. So she steps up to the plate and for her partner. And I'm not sure if there's enough tension for a throwdown between the girls, but Amanda isn't waiting her turn to throw out some smoke and fire. Freckles isn't here to make friends. She's here to start wars. She's calling out names and she's ready to take some shots. And will it work? No. Seriously, it's not going to work. Not at all. But I got to tell you what, it's a half-decent way to be on the show for a limited amount of time and secure future seasons for her, which, if she's pulling this the right way, that is a Machiavellian, Otto von Bismarck, brilliant realpolitik, the Prince absolute power type move. Yeah, I'm a world history teacher. Get over it. As for next week, my DVR cut out on the preview. Thanks MTV for the timing, but that's all for the best. But I do have 3 questions. First, when is this fiesta or party that we're being thrown by TJ? And what is it ultimately going to lead to? Who's fighting with whom and when? And finally, is it guys or girls fighting? And let's be honest, how is the fight not Tony related, if not directly involving Tony? Whether we get that fight next week or not, I can't say. But there's sure to be plenty more drama, and all I ask is a challenge that matters and a deliberation, if not the beginning of an elimination, with some real tension to it. Do it, MTV. Please do it.
CT looks like freaking Godzilla. I've never seen a grown man look so scary in my life.
He just gets up and he's doing like this Transformer power walk with the Boston Mumble.
And he carries his custom-made Johnny Bananas backpack to the barrel in about 5 seconds.
I can't even believe I'm actually witnessing this. I will tell my grandchildren about this.
I'm looking up at the sky, at the stars, enjoying this beautiful night we have here in Prague, only to be rudely interrupted by being dropped onto a metal trash can. Am I hurt? My pride and my ego's hurt. That's what's hurt.
As much as I enjoyed the show, I know that my number is next, so to say I'm nervous is an understatement.
Far too often, characters get stale on the challenge. Really stale. I'm looking at you, Anissa. The story is the same for them every year. They're either the constant underachiever who underachieves. They fight with others more than fighting for the challenge and elimination victories. They fall short on anything physical, or they simply don't understand the importance of alliances, pacts, or any type of mental preparation. Hello, Joanna. Fortunately, though, the challenge has also had a litany of cast members who we simply can't get enough of. Many of them will end up making a large chunk of the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame, which, yes, still a thing, folks. And better yet, it's growing. The first 2 inductees, Jarrell Taylor, shout out to his Twitter retweet, and Evelyn Smith, personified strength, poise, charisma, and really both of them had the ability to play all aspects, both mental and physical. of this game, of the challenge. No matter the format, individual, pairs, groups, whatever, those two always seem to come out on top. They fit the mold of what you expected in a challenge champion, and they were always a cast favorite. They were sort of Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality with the talent of an MVP, basically. And yet, today's two entrants, beloved by some and detested, reviled by others, they don't fit that same mold because there was really no middle ground with these two guys, even with each other. And that's part of what made them elite, what made them champions, and what brought them to the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. And first up is the Boston Maniac, CT Chris Tamburullo. Debuting on the Real World Paris, CT has one of the most impressive resumes in challenge history. We're talking 11 total challenges, 5 finals, 1 victory. That was in Rivals 2 with Wes Bergman, and a 4-3 record in 7 eliminations. And trust me, you didn't want to go into an elimination round against CT. Just ask Johnny Backpack Bananas. CT does also have quite the history with violence, whether through threats or his fists. He's seen a fair share of DQs. In the Inferno 3, CT was DQ'd before the first challenge ever happened for drunkenly punching Davis, who was part of the Real World Denver. CT found the same result 2 challenges later in the Duel 2, when he got into a horrific brawl, one-sided one at that, with former Paris castmate Adam. It was absolutely brutal, spilling outside. Adam stood no chance, and CT literally was ready to drink Adam's blood.
I don't give a I win every fight. You kidding me? Yeah. I will smash his head and eat it.
Unfortunately, no fighting involved. Third time that CT had to leave early from a challenge was during Battle of the Exes 2, after his partner and ex, DM, became severely ill. DM lost her brave fight with cancer in 2015, but her on and off again relationship with CT, it was a staple of the show for several seasons and easily one of the most noteworthy relationships in the history of the challenge. Now, CT earned well over $137,000 on the show. He would actually return to the challenge this most recent season during Battle of the Bloodlines with DM's younger sister Faith to demonstrate an event and later compete as a heavy hitter to compete against Jamie, the eventual co-champion of the show with Cara Maria, in the pit. It was good to see him. While only holding 1 championship, CT's overall record is still damn impressive. And there's a lot of guys who are really great challenge competitors that have never sniffed a title. CT's got his. Look, his behavior and personality were indelible. His massive physicality and, at times, confrontational violent style, whether with allies, rivals, or true enemies, it'll never be forgotten. Deservedly so, CT is the second male to join the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame.
Get the up!
Oh my God.
Do you realize what you look like? I don't care. I'm hurting more because I've been carrying the bag.
Look at my hands are it's popping out of my...
It's not popping out. Stretch it. Yes, what the
What do you want me to do, man?
You suck.
Our second entrant into the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame from today's episode is our third male, Kenny Santucci. And he's the second member from the Fresh Meat cast to join the Hall of Fame. A dust-up or two with CT aside, well, actually, there were quite a few dust-ups and near brawls that Kenny was a part of. Look, the numbers don't lie. In 8 challenges, Kenny put up a staggering 7 finals. 7 finals in 8 appearances, with 3 victories in the Inferno 3, the Island, and the Ruins. It was only in the Duel that Kenny didn't reach the finals. Combine that with a 5-1 record in eliminations, with the sole loss to Nehemiah. Look, Kenny has done nothing but produce in the challenge, and frankly, I think the guy's hilarious. Kenny made alliances from the start and pushed partners, whether allies or rivals, as far as he could. Often it was tough love, but Kenny got the job done as often as anyone on the challenge roster. He's even dragged partners across the finish, yelling at them throughout, "See Wes." Now, it would be a mistake not to mention that Kenny and Evan did have charges pressed against them by former cast member Tanya Cooley. An out-of-court settlement was reached in 2012, and the details are not public. But Kenny did win a bounty of well over $236,000 on the show and threw out more insults than perhaps anyone in challenge history. Kenny joined CT as the 3rd and 4th members of the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. Next week, 2 new ladies will be joining the Hall of Fame. So the question becomes, who will join last episode's first female entrant, Evelyn Smith? Tune in next week to find out. We hoped you enjoyed our latest episode of Rise to the Challenge, in which we reviewed episode 3 of MTV's The Challenge Rivals 3. Nobody went home, but we did have 2 new members in the house, and an upcoming party/fiesta, being hosted by TJ, whatever that entails. Maybe some brawling, maybe some hooking up. Who knows? What we do know is that we'll be back next week with a review of episode 4, as we officially hit the 25% mark, 1/4 of the way through this season. If you like what you heard today, check out our extensive archive. Subscribe on iTunes, the podcast app, or bookmark us at podomatic.com. Our archive is completely free. It's available to stream or download. It covers a variety of sports, pop culture, and political topics. We try to do as much as we can here at the podcast, and we enjoy most of it because we have such great guests. Last week, we actually had 2 guests on the show to discuss, but not debate, the current political scene and the race for the White House. Next week, we'll be talking 30 for 30 on ESPN and my favorites of that series. And following that, a focus on the NBA Finals and the upcoming NBA Draft. Look, please continue to follow us on social media too. It's so easy. All the information to do that, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, is on the info and description of this episode. Look, you want to subscribe? You don't know how? Just search Baker's Dozen Podcast or my name, RiverCity Clement. That's one word, RiverCity Clement, Clement. You'll find us. Same thing with a quick Google search. It's easy to connect to us. You got Wi-Fi, you got automatic episodes coming your way with a subscription. We always look forward to interacting with the audience. I actually like that Darrell Taylor, part of the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame, liked one of our tweets about episode 1 and his induction into our silly little Hall of Fame. But it's all about you guys, the listeners. That's why I do this. You're fans of the challenge. I'm fans of the challenge. Maybe you're just a fan of this show. Either way, you're listening, and I love you for it. We'll be back next week, hopefully with a little more madness and a challenge with some real stakes, MTV, and maybe a punch or a kiss or 2. But until then, we'll continue our best to rise to the challenge.
If I could choose to start it over, I'd exercise more discretion. The lies are open, so nothing's so dead. Do you have good attention? Come on, let go of those affectations. You don't fool anyone. Come on, let go if you want to take on. The years will say what happened to you.
When I was on Fresh Meat, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I'm in remission now.
With my prize money for the Fresh Meat Challenge, I got a boob job. Probably the best purchase of my life. Boobs.